Hey guys, welcome back to Aaron's Marble Works. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to change your turbo actuator on this 2018 Dodge Ram 2500. We're going to be installing the City Diesel turbo actuator from Gino's Garage. If you didn't check out my unboxing video from them, make sure you check it out. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is grab a socket and a ratchet and undo this bolt right here that holds on this little power steering reservoir and move it out of the way so that you can reach the drain plug for the radiator down below. Okay guys, so I don't know how these guys are getting a good shot of this, but I'm going to show you what you can do to be able to reach down there and feel that little drain plug. So if you come over here, I'm on a little step ladder here. You come over here, just put your arm, see my arm's like all good and scraped up right there? Just kind of put your arm directly down and face the palm of your hand towards the radiator and you'll feel that little drain plug. I have no idea how guys are getting that on film down there. But anyway, that's how I felt it and found it. Caution, old man climbing ladder, guys. So I'm just going to open that drain plug up and let it drain into that bucket that I have down there. One little thing, guys, I would not recommend pulling that plug all the way out. It's going to be a pain to get it back in there. I just opened it up until it was draining at an adequate speed. That's all you got to do. All right, I'd say she's draining now. Make sure that you've pulled the cap on the reservoir. And look at it now, it's draining pretty decent. It's not all the way out, but it's out enough to drain. If I would have pulled that thing all the way out, it'd be a major pain to get it back in there. It's hard enough finding where it goes. Just my little tip. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm disconnecting the battery terminals from both batteries. I only need to remove one battery in order to change that reservoir, but I'm gonna undo both sets of battery cables. This is just a little time lapse of me doing that for your viewing pleasure. Okay guys, so I got that battery removed on the passenger side of the truck. I also removed the airbox lid and got it out of the way. Not entirely sure that I needed to do that, if I'm totally honest, guys. I just thought that it might be in the way of me trying to get this coolant reservoir out of there. The battery definitely did need to come out of there. I saw a guy saying that he needed to remove the battery tray. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is just move that battery up out of the way and you'll be able to finagle that thing to get it out of there. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to pry off these little clamps that hold on these two hoses on the top of this thing. They're one-time use clamps, so you might want to stop at like a parts store and have some of these on hand. I had to run out and get some, but it was no big deal. It was definitely not fun prying those little things off of there though. Now I'm just removing the wire on the bottom of the reservoir that goes into the sensor. I used a small little screwdriver just to pry that little tab out and pull it down. Pretty easy. Then I removed the bottom nut that's holding on the coolant reservoir. Now I'm just going to take a pair of needle nose and squeeze this little squeeze clamp down on this bottom hose and see if I can't get my big old noggin up in the way so you can't see what I'm doing. Anyway, so I'm going to get this down, pull out this bottom hose. Now keep in mind that the coolant has been draining for a while, so the system is pretty much empty. Now this here is the old wiggle and pull method, guys. Many years of experience. Here's a little better look at those little one-time use clamps. And also on the battery terminal here, I also saw in a video where a guy completely disassembled this thing in order to get that reservoir out of there, you don't need to do that. There's one little nut on the underside of that positive cable. You can pull off that nut, and then you can pull that wire off of the terminal, and that'll allow you enough room to get the coolant reservoir out of there. Now I'm removing the nuts off of the two top studs that hold in the coolant reservoir. And in just a second, I'm going to show you removing that, that nut off of the positive battery terminal that I was talking about. Once that nut is removed off the bottom, you got to kind of mess around with it and pry it back and forth and maybe get a little screwdriver under it, but it'll come off of there. Now you just got to shimmy and wiggle and pull and twist and do all that fun stuff and get that little coolant reservoir out of there. Well, there you go. It's out. Look down inside of there. Look at all that gunk in there. Isn't that nasty? Yuck. No wonder why the sensor's not going right. I think it was partly my bad because I mixed some non-OAT coolant with the OAT coolant, and it probably caused all that shit in there to gum up like that. So make sure you use the Mopar OAT coolant. That's it. Okay, so since this is kind of two things in one video, now we're gonna jump over to starting this turbo actuator removal. Okay, so I'm working on the bottom one first. I already got it a little bit loosened up. Oh shit. Well, there goes the bit. What I'm doing is I just kind of fit the bit in there first. Get it on there if I can. Shit. You're just kind of feeling around for it, really.
I was thinking about
So when I say that I kept dropping the little bit, I'm referring to the little 5mm Allen bit that's included when you buy this actuator from Gino's Garage. They're nice enough to send you the little bit that you need, but you do need to purchase a 1/4-inch wrench to turn that little Allen bit. It's just a world of fun. Okay, so now I'm up on the top side of the motor. Since I have that coolant reservoir out of there and the battery out of there and everything, it's just a lot easier for me to access these two top bolts from the top. Okay, so the actuator is out of there. I did have to wait to remove that lower left bolt until the actuator was free from the turbo. All right, guys, I'm breaking the blue seal. I'm officially opening up the packaging for the new City Diesel actuator. Once this seal is broken, it can no longer be returned to Gino's Garage. So make sure that your turbo is good before you open this packaging. Now it's time to start putting the two halves together of the actuator. One is the mechanical side or housing side, and the other is the electronic side. I'm going to be using 4 T15 torque screws, which are provided in the kit, as well as this gasket that goes in between the two pieces. The instructions that Gino's gives you on this installation make it very easy, so as long as you follow the instructions, you'll have no problems. And don't use any gasket maker, just the gasket. Time for a little water break. Thanks, bub. Putting this together was super easy, and having some friends over for moral support and company made the job just that much better. Highly recommended. Now that the two halves of the actuator are bolted together, I'll be inserting these little rubber O-rings that go in between the actuator and the turbo itself. They just kind of press in there nice and easy like. Now it's time to mount the actuator to the turbocharger using the supplied gaskets. Those are the little rubber O-rings that I was talking about. They're already installed on the actuator. And I'm just going to be using the 4 new Allen head bolts that are included and tighten the actuator to the turbocharger. If you remember earlier, when I pulled the old one out, I had to leave that lower left bolt in until I pulled it out. So you're going to be doing the exact opposite, putting this new one in. Make sure you have that bolt, that lower left bolt, slid into the actuator and then put it into place. Then you can use your fingers to tighten that lower left bolt in there. Just tighten all 4 bolts, and because a torque wrench is not able to be used on the lower 2 bolts on a 2013 to 2018 truck, you will want to tighten the 2 lower mounting bolts by hand, then turn your wrench an additional 90 degrees. Now I'm just installing the new coolant reservoir, starting with attaching the bolt at the bottom, then plugging in the connector, and then reattaching the hose that goes into the bottom of the reservoir. All right, guys, time to put some antifreeze in this thing and then fire it up. At this point, I was so excited to get it going, and I only had 3 jugs, and I was waiting on Amazon to bring me 3 more. It took a total of 4.5 to fill this back up, so not quite 5 gallons. So all that said and done, this fixed my problem with the U010C trouble code. That's the lost communication with turbocharger. Also, I had a low coolant light that would come on and was not going away despite the fact that it had plenty of coolant in it. So please watch my Geno's unboxing video. Hopefully this video will help someone out. We got all that done and still made it in time to go to the races. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.